Get the Facts with Folan, episode 24. This is going to be a fun one, guys. Going to stay in Asia, going to head to a country that I recently explored, one of the most recent countries I've seen in Asia, fell in love with it. It's a very unique spot, and it was much more different than I was expecting. So I'm going to bring in a friend of a friend. So this is going to be a fun episode. Raj has joined. Let's get him in here. Send him the invite. And here go. After Sri Lanka, episode 24. Raj, how's it going, man?
Going good, Bren. How are you?
Good, man. Good. I'm literally counting down the hours. We're less than 3 hours until I can legally go back outside. I am stoked.
Exactly. Yeah.
So Raj, tell me. Okay. So first, introduce yourself and say where you are in the world right now.
Okay. So my name is Raj Murthy, and I'm from Sri Lanka. I'm now in Colombo. So I write for the Sunday Times newspaper, which is a Sunday newspaper, obviously. Yeah. And then I do write as a freelance journalist, which is a part of I love writing, so which is why I do that. Apart from that, I also run my dad's business on a full-time basis, which is on a complete halt right now. So for the moment, I'm doing a bit of research, and I mean everything's online right now.
Yeah, totally. So what's going on in Sri Lanka? What's life like? How has COVID-19 changed life in Sri Lanka?
Okay, so it's a totally different lifestyle that everyone here is experiencing right now.
Yeah.
Because it just happened out of nowhere, and we are all looking at, but we are going along with the flow as all the other countries are going right now. But all the countries are facing right now. So Sri Lanka, I think most of the businesses are there are offline as well as online businesses, where the online businesses are still active. Their businesses are running online, and they keep, the people are working from home. Apart from that, I think the ones who are home, who can't do the online work, are actually doing things from home, and it's a bit difficult times, but you can't help it. You have to go through the government protocols and the processes that's here.
No, exactly.
So the curfew in Sri Lanka, it was initially a lockdown, but then the government realized probably it's not going to work, or it was not working, and then they implemented the curfew, which started on 20th of March.
Okay.
So the island-wide curfew, and then certain parts of the island, out of the 25 districts, 7 districts are still on lockdown and complete curfew, whereas some districts, there are 8-hour gaps within every 3 days. Once in every 3 days, they give a curfew gap period. Yeah. So that's how it's going. Yeah.
So the 8 hours, is that 8 hours you're allowed to go outside? You're allowed to go get your shopping done.
Exactly.
That's it. But every 3 days, you get those 8 hours.
So that also, out of 25 districts, 4 districts are on complete lockdown, where you can't really go out at all. So you have to get your essentials and everything via online, or you call a line, and they will deliver everything. But all the other districts, they have given the permission. Okay, now the curfew break is from 6 o'clock in the morning, and it goes on till 2 o'clock the same day. 2 o'clock in the evening. Yeah. So within that 8-hour time frame, you can go out, but you have to maintain that social distancing, and you have to wear masks. You have to maintain those rules. But in some places, it doesn't happen as such. But the government is trying their best to reduce of people gathering around in the same place. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. Interesting. So what is it like with the grocery stores? Are there certain products? It's interesting how there's certain products flying off the shelves by country. What specifically in Sri Lanka is selling out?
So when it comes to groceries, now at the moment what Sri Lanka is facing is all the online stores are jammed up, because everyone is booking through online, and through calls, through online reservations, and through online. They are doing online store. It's an online purchasing, where everyone is doing at the same time, and people are getting their groceries delivered 2-3 days back, and some can't actually reach the line. And so there isn't anything in particular, okay, this is the particular product which is not available. At some point you get one product which is not available, which is not there everywhere, but then it will be available the next time, but another product goes off. Yeah.
Gotcha.
So that's
Gotcha.
how, yeah.
So it's more so finding a time slot to get delivered. That's the same problem they're running into in Singapore right now. We've been trying to order
Okay.
our groceries online, and it's almost impossible to get a time slot. Like we tried ordering
Yeah.
yesterday, I think, and the earliest
Okay.
you can get them is Friday. So it's almost a
Oh,
week
wow.
long
Okay.
wait, which is just insane. So it's like
Mm-hmm.
even though these steps are in place to help, it's
Okay.
still not totally working in every of these countries. Just because I don't
Yeah.
think these countries are expecting this much business in such a short amount of time, right? I
Time.
mean, everybody and
Exactly.
their brother
Yeah.
is starting to order online, and so very very interesting times. So
But yeah,
let's
apart from that, also apart from the
yeah
known supermarkets which are there, the small
yeah
grocery stores have also started their delivery arm. So which is, I mean, everyone is doing,
huh,
every small store and every small shop around the corner. They say, okay, so just give us a call and we will deliver the products to your home. So it doesn't really have to be
interesting.
a really big supermarket in the country. So yeah,
So
so
it's
everyone,
keeping
yeah,
those. That's good. So it's keeping those smaller businesses
businesses,
in
yeah,
business, which is
yeah,
phenomenal because that's something that a lot of the non-essential places are running into. The
exactly,
small
yeah,
spots are struggling. So that's a great thing Sri Lanka's doing that. That's
doing it,
fantastic
yeah.
that they're letting them do that. Interesting.
Mm.
Is Colombo a ghost town? I mean, are most people staying inside?
Um, I wouldn't really call it a ghost town,
Yeah.
but you get those delivery vehicles going around, and someone during the day screams, "Okay, there are vegetables here. Do you want to buy?" So people actually, I mean, they do look through their windows outside, and then okay, see if there is no anyone. Okay, I'm buying that. So there are like, I mean, fishermen also. They have their own lorries and everything. So they bring
Okay.
fish to house. They go house, they door to door. So it's like a door to door delivery which they are doing.
Whoa.
So
Okay.
yeah. So all of them have to get a special permission from their divisional secretary or from the divisional police station, the
Yeah.
district police station. So they have to get the permission from them, and they need to have a pass for them to
Okay.
deliver. Because the thing is now, when you say a pass, everyone and it will try to get it because they want to go out and see people and
Of
things like
course.
that.
Why wouldn't you?
So
Yeah. Yeah. It's your freedom.
so
Right.
exactly, but now they have limited to, okay, you have to be a established organization or a particular person who can actually do the delivery, and more than two people cannot actually go on delivery. It's just only two people for the moment.
Interesting. Okay. And
Mm.
so, Raj, what happens if someone breaks curfew and they stay out longer? Does the government fine them? What's the penalty in Sri Lanka?
That's a good question. Okay, so what I would say is, in Sri Lanka, we don't still have the law of fining a person for breaking the law. What
Yeah.
they usually do is they take this person, they take them into custody,
Yeah.
and they have kept them in the prison for some time now, right? So they can't come out of bail also because you can't pay or do anything for right now. So
Yeah.
they have to be under custody. So far, we have got around 11,000 people who have actually broken this law. So
Jeez.
they are still under custody, but there isn't any fine as such which is implemented like in other countries. I thought in
Right.
Singapore, New Zealand, Australia, Canada. I mean, Canada has a massive fine for this.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
even in New Zealand and Australia, the same. Yeah.
Right. There, yeah. I mean, even Singapore. In Singapore, it's up to $10,000 and 6 months in prison.
Oh wow.
So
Okay.
yeah, it's a law you do not want to break. I mean, it's quite serious. I mean, and not only just because you're going to get fined or put in jail, but because it's going to help stop this virus. It's going
Exactly.
to
Yeah.
help get things.
Absolutely. That's the whole purpose of implementing lockdown or curfew or anything. So if
Yeah.
people can't really actually follow those rules, they need to be fined or they need to be taught a lesson, right?
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
No. Exactly. Well, okay. Enough about COVID-19. Let's talk
Okay.
about traveling in Sri Lanka because Sri Lanka is sometimes skipped overlooked by a lot of travelers. The secret is starting to come out. Sri Lanka is one of the best destinations in the world. And so, Raj, in your opinion, what are the top 3 must-see spots when someone gets to Sri Lanka?
Okay. So as tourist destination, Sri Lanka is one of the, it has been ranked #1 by the Lonely
Okay.
Planet. Sorry, Lonely Planet.
Lonely
Lonely
Planet. Yeah.
Planet
Yeah.
recently, yeah. So last year, if you had actually recall, in Sri Lanka, we had a set of bombs that exploded on the same particular month
Yeah.
during the Easter Sunday. So after that, everything started to fall off, and businesses were down, and there were a lot of confusions going on. Okay, what we are going to do, because
Right.
every tourist they did not look at Sri Lanka at that time. So everyone left, and it was a big scenario that we are going through right now as well. So the same scenario that we are going through now, the whole world is going through now. It happened the same thing last year. So after that,
almost the exact same time frame. And that's interesting.
Exactly, yeah.
Interesting.
So April 13th was the Easter Sunday attacks, and then after that, for probably 2-3 months, people were struggling really hard. Small businesses to even big corporates, everyone was struggling to come out. But we did. Sri Lanka actually came out of that, and we started businesses. We opened up markets. Tourism boomed. Every business had an opportunity, and life was back to normal.
Good.
So when you ask me like 3 interesting spots that tourists could visit Sri Lanka, there are more than 3 spots.
There's a ton. There are a lot of spots. But in your opinion, your top 3. What are your 3 favorite spots?
Okay. What could I say? Right. It's a very interesting question as well. But I would say Yala and Pinavala, as you mentioned earlier. So those are like different spots which you can go. But also, I wouldn't recommend tourists like keep on visiting those places. We need to give the space for the animals as well, because in those national parks, when you look today, all these animals are free. I would actually love to see if someone can actually video those animals right now, which would be brilliant, because there is no intervene of human into that forest, into the parks. So, those are places where you could visit, but also the numbers should be less when people are traveling to national parks, and all the numbers should be less, so that the animals are not disturbed, right?
Right,
So
and that's why, in my opinion, I prefer, like, we skipped Yala because we heard it's quite crazy. So, guys, there's 2 major national parks in Sri Lanka. Well, if you're looking for the Sri Lankan leopard, which is a very rare animal to find, but that's one that's only found in Sri Lanka. And so there's a very famous spot down south called Yala, very well-known park, very easy to get to. And so most tourists that go on a game drive will go to Yala. Katie and I decided to go off the beaten path, and we went to a spot called Wilpatu, which is way up north. And that's more of a natural park, in my opinion, because I think we saw one other truck the whole day. We did a full day game drive tour, and way less tourists there versus in Yola. I've heard cars and trucks can just line up like crazy. So if you're looking for a spot that's really off the beaten path, and it's not easy to get to, like, I'm not gonna lie, it was not an easy place by any means. But Wilpatu is a great spot, and we saw the Sri Lankan leopard, which was incredible. So I agree with you. Like the national parks, not many people realize there are some amazing wildlife in Sri Lanka, and worth your visit, worth your time when you visit the country. All right. So what else? There's some good spots, and I'm going to rattle off a couple more. So you got a few more spots.
So in Kandy, you have this famous Dalada Maliga, where every tourist, once they come, they go visit there. But that is it's a temple. It's a very old religious temple where a Buddhist temple. So you can go visit there. That is one spot. Then in Norelia, you get to see the plantations, the tea estates, and also those are really. You're not disturbed. You have a peaceful mind once you go there when you experience those. And Sri Lanka is famous for the beaches, so those things are there.
What is it? I think is it Hikkaduwa? Hikkaduwa is on the beach, correct?
Exactly.
Right. You can take the train. We went down to Hikkaduwa, which is really nice. There's really nice train rides all throughout. Sri Lanka has a great job with public transportation. And the train from Colombo down to Hikkaduwa, really nice. A train ride that's an absolute must. Like, it is known as the most beautiful train ride in the world, is from Ella up to Kandy. And I'm not kidding. You will not sleep on that train. You will not read. You will be glued to your window, or what I did with Katie was just stand outside the door that's wide open and just take in, because you're cruising through just the beautiful nonstop tree plantations, and then you'll have gorgeous waterfalls that if you become friends with some of the guys working on the train, they'll let you know when they're coming up. So that train ride is remarkable. And the Buddhist, the temple you mentioned, that one is on a massive rock, and so again, you're surrounded by mountains. So within days you can go through the major capital city. You can spend a couple days on the beach. Then you can disappear into the peacefulness of tea plantations and even mountains that you can
Exactly.
find, and then end your trip with wildlife. So for a very small country, there is a ton that you can do in Sri Lanka, and so I think that's what's nice. And if it's the season, there's also whale watching up north.
Absolutely.
So they're truly, you guys have so much to offer, and I loved it. I could not get enough of Sri Lanka. I wish we would have stayed longer, but I'm very glad we at least had 2 weeks there, because it was an action-packed 2 weeks. So and guys, one other thing. Well, I guess we can save it about the things that shock you, but I'll say it now. It is very, very close. What are you guys, 50 kilometers from India? Something like that. I mean, it may be a little bit more. You're quite close to
India,
right? India. And so in my mind, before I got there, I was expecting Sri Lanka to be, for lack of a better words, the little brother of India, right? Absolute madness, super busy. And it wasn't that by any means. Like, I never felt overcrowded. Like, in India, the trains can be nuts, right? I mean, like, you're going to have to fight your way off. In Sri Lanka, you're just walking on casually. It's no problem. So not nearly as packed as India. Not like, okay, a few similarities, but very, very different cultures, which is nice. So it's worth seeing both. Yeah. All right, so Raj, let's dive into food. Sri Lanka had some great food. In your opinion, what are some of the best local dishes that travelers can get?
Right. So there's this famous food called kottu, Sri Lankan kottu. Everyone loves it. It's a mix of like what do you say? It's vegetables. You can put chicken or beef or mutton with a tortilla. You call it a tortilla, yeah.
Okay.
Probably like that. So it mixed together, and they like it's chopped into pieces. So that's called a kottu, which everyone loves. So all the tourists who come to Sri Lanka, they love it. That's one thing. And also the hoppers. The Sri Lankan hoppers is very famous. People love to have it. Delicious.
And what is this?
Hoppers. You're talking about hoppers?
Yeah. What does it consist of?
Okay, so hoppers is made of, again, flour, as well as you put egg, and also there are like different other ingredients which they put. I really don't know the nitty-gritties of what goes in, but it's one of the famous foods that everyone loves.
Is it a street food? It's quite common.
I wouldn't really call it a street food, but it goes into that category as well. Yeah.
Okay. I'm trying to. We must have had it. It's been a while since I was there. All the food we had in Sri Lanka was so good. In your opinion, are there any strange foods? Do you guys eat any weird animals? Anything that would be unique to versus Western food?
Right. In Sri Lanka, you have when you say unique. That's a very difficult question, but
like for example, in the Philippines, have you heard of balut? Right, so the Filipinos eat balut, which is a duck egg that duck eggs hatch on the 21st day. They eat it on the 16th, 18th, or 20th day. So you get this hard-boiled egg, you crack it open, and there's a baby duck. Of course, it's dead, but they eat the baby duck, and so that's a weird food. Is there anything comparable in Sri Lanka? And it's okay if there's not.
I don't think there isn't anything, like that, because you have the normal food, and I mean, in the forests, of course, people do eat. I mean, there are rabbits and all those things which they do, but you don't get them in Colombo. You don't get them on sale. You can't do that. It's illegal.
Gotcha. Okay.
So those meat are all there, but I mean, there are. You get the porcupine. There are different other meats, but people don't really eat them. Yeah.
Okay. So nothing too out of the ordinary. But again, some great food. I mean, guys, like all the street food we had, every restaurant, and it was quite cheap. It's not a super expensive.
What kind of street food did you have when you were here?
You guys have roti, right? Don't you guys do roti?
Yeah. Roti.
We
so
eat
this
that so much.
particular kottu roti is made of that roti.
That's why it sounded familiar. Exactly. And when we were in, there was Hikkaduwa. It was so good. And then we also had it was a mango curry, which sounded so strange, but we tried it, and oh my gosh, it was amazing. I have yet to find a place that even makes a mango curry since Sri Lanka. Phenomenal meals. I mean, you couldn't go wrong, and only a couple bucks each time, which was even better.
Exactly.
So it really was a great exchange rate, and did not break the bank traveling through Sri Lanka. So, what about are there any particular stereotypes about Sri Lanka that are true or false in your opinion?
Stereotypes. Okay, let me say. When you come to Sri Lanka, you always are welcome with a smile. Everyone smiles when you see them, and but I mean, as in, like, just like in other countries, you should be really careful of who you associate and who you meet. Some people could be like really strange, and they could be like taking advantage of you. When you know,
Yeah.
when the people know that you are a foreigner, then there's a different treatment that they do.
Yeah.
But it always depends from the place where you stay, and you could get advice from them, which they will really help out to for you
Yes.
to travel and all. But in Sri Lanka, the nightlife and everything goes on. I mean, there hasn't been much of incidents, but as long as from the tourist point of view, if they are really careful about what they do, it's fine.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And that is a constant theme that we have on all these episodes
yeah,
is just be street smart. There are unfortunately
exactly.
bad
Yeah,
people everywhere, and like they things do happen. But if you
yeah,
can read the situation, if
for
someone's
sure.
being too friendly, like,
Yeah,
and you can trust your
then you
gut,
can be. Yeah,
then just like if your gut is saying do not go in that situation,
right.
listen to
Exactly.
it because 99% of the time you're going to be right. So
Okay.
yeah, so and like unfortunately, yes, there have been some incidents in Sri Lanka in the last
Mm-hmm.
decade, but by no means did we feel unsafe. I mean, as you said, the
Yeah.
locals really did make us feel incredibly welcome. Very good couch surfing community. We had a
Mm-hmm.
couple of really amazing hosts there. So yeah, I, I like. Okay, great on the
So the
stereotypes. What about what's your favorite thing about Sri Lanka?
Um, my favorite thing about Sri Lanka is you have the freedom. You can go anywhere, anytime you want, but as long as you know where you're going and how you're treating people and how you actually talk to people. Like if you feel, I mean, you're going alone on the road, but then if you feel it's not safe, you just come back, right?
Yep.
But I don't think it's there anymore. But um, what I would say is I love the freedom in Sri Lanka. You can go for a jog, or you can go for I mean, anywhere that I decide, okay, I want to go to this particular place, I just go.
Yeah.
So it doesn't have
Yeah.
to be, you can take the trains, you can take the buses, and you can travel a lot. Yeah.
No, exactly. Getting around the country is super easy. In
Yeah.
your opinion, is there much of a language barrier? Do a lot of locals speak English?
Right. And when it comes to language, it's not that people don't. I mean, there are people who don't speak the language. I mean, English is a general language, right?
Hmm.
So people don't speak the language, but they can understand.
Yep.
They can understand the language which a foreigner is speaking. So they actually, I mean, sometimes if there are people who really don't understand, they get another person to like translate or to get what you're saying and then tell. So I don't think there would be a really big problem with the language because. I mean, as long as a foreigner doesn't know English, then that's it.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, so the
Okay.
main three languages are, I mean, Sinhalese, Tamil, and English. So
Okay.
whenever if there's a foreigner that comes down, people speak in English. Whoever who doesn't know
Okay.
English, they speak in Sinhala and try to understand what that other person is saying. So language barrier, I wouldn't actually say there is a barrier as such. As
I
long as
we
the foreigner,
Yeah.
yeah,
We really did not run into an issue with that. So that
okay,
like Sri Lanka, guys, it's a very easy country to get around. Like, please,
hmm,
if you're going to take anything from this, know
yeah,
there's so much to see, and it's a small country. You can see it in a very short amount of
absolutely,
time. So, U.S. citizens who typically only get 2 weeks per year, this is
yeah.
one of those perfect destinations where you can get to the country and truly see it all. All right, so one more question for you. What's one fact about Sri Lanka that would surprise people?
One fact about Sri Lanka that will surprise people. Very interesting. Hmm. What I would say is you would get everything in Sri Lanka. It's a small island, but when you come to Sri Lanka, you can get everything from the peacefulness to the travel, I mean, access to like the street foods to the expensive foods to malls to everything you can get in Sri Lanka. So
Yeah.
that's the advice that I could say every foreigner who's coming down. Okay, you should visit Sri Lanka and see because uh, if you really want to enjoy like the high-end food, you get it here. as well as
Yeah.
if you want to go for a street food also, you get them here. If you want to go and have a sip of tea in the estates, you can do that as well. So, which is like the loveliest things that I would actually recommend anyone.
Yeah.
Go to the
Yeah.
estates, stay there, have a cup of tea, and enjoy the nature. The
Yes.
natural resources are there.
Truly, truly, and I think that the thing that surprised me the most about Sri Lanka is if you haven't realized this yet, I'm a massive, massive animal fan, and there's a
Okay.
park called Kadula National Park, and it's in kind of the center of the country. And
Okay.
guys, we were no joke. Like I've been to Africa, I've been on a lot of game drives around the world. That was the one moment in my life I was no joke surrounded by 150, 200 elephants. I mean, it
Okay.
was out of a movie. And it's one of those game drives that if you're an animal, especially elephant lover, a lot of U.S. citizens love elephants. This is the country you will get the best elephant experience in the world. And the best part, they don't have chains on them. It is a national park. They're protected animals, truly in the wild. And it's one of those moments I will never forget for the rest of my life. So who would have guessed that Sri Lanka has so many wild elephants? Not me. So that was pretty special, man. So now I really 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 enjoyed your country.
Okay.
You guys have done a great job with it, and that's good. You know, people need to get there because there's just it's a hidden gem of Asia, and I highly encourage everyone to check it out if you can make the time to see it. So Raj, man, I tell you what, thank you so much for. It's nice to meet you guys. We got introduced just a few days ago. I really want to do an episode on Sri Lanka. So this is what's great about social networking around the world. So a friend, one of my couch surfing friends, introduced me to Raj, and he just seemed like the perfect guy to talk about his country. And Raj, yeah, thank you so much for your time. I would love to give you your parting words, whatever you would like to say to the world. The time is now. So what would you like to say?
I didn't get you the last, but what do you mean?
So, what would you like to tell the world? The whole world is going to watch this series. So, what
Okay,
is your message to the world, Raj?
The situation that we are going through is a worldwide problem, but once everything is over, come see Sri Lanka and enjoy. That's what I could say. Yeah.
That's perfect. I totally agree, guys. Put it on the bucket list. It's no joke. I mean, I've been to a lot of countries. I would
It's
say
one of
top
the
15, maybe
destinations. Yeah.
top 10. I think it's pushing top 10 in my book just because it truly has so much to offer. So, yeah, with that, guys, this is the end of Sri Lanka. I hope you enjoyed this virtual tour. So, quick little update on the upcoming interviews. Tomorrow morning here in Asia, this evening in the United States, we're headed to Indonesia. Going to be talking to one of my buddies who has been working in Bali the last couple of years. Had started traveling, fell in love with it, and was able to make a home in Bali, which is awesome. And then in 24 hours, we will be headed to Cairo, Egypt. So, the home of the pyramids. It's going to be interesting to see what's going on there. So with that, please, guys, please stay home. Please stay inside. Please wash your hands, because the sooner we get through this virus, the sooner we get together, the sooner we can open the borders back up and enjoy this great planet that we have. With that, Raj, thanks so much, man. It was amazing to meet you. Stay safe, and hopefully see you soon. Next time I'm in Colombo, we will be meeting up.
You should
Down my
come.
mind.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much, Brent. Thank you so much
Yeah.
for this time, and thank you for connecting with me. And it was a great pleasure talking to you and letting you know about Sri Lanka to the world. Okay?
Absolutely.
Stay
Take
safe.
care, man.
Yeah.
I'll hopefully
Stay
see you
safe.
soon.
Thank
All
you so
right.
much. Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Episode 25, Get the Facts with Folan. Guys, good morning from Singapore. I am stoked because I get to go outside today. This is it, day 15. I mean, it's only supposed to be 2 weeks. They say extend the full day, so I am headed outside right after this interview. All right, so today we're taking you to Indonesia, very, very famous spot in Southeast Asia, and specifically to the island of Bali. So he has joined. Let's get him in. Fingers crossed this works. Yeah, go frogs. Yeah, hey, good morning. How are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
Good. All right, introduce yourself. Say your name, where you are, and how we met. You can either tell that story. I'll happily tell it.
Sure.